death. We gas ourselves up, but we short on breath. Talking about we eating, but who we really cooking. Dreaming about greens, but ain't nobody looking. No land, no acres, no seeds in the ground. When the hunger hits, who's gonna be around? We starving every day, and it just ain't the food. Feeding the hood garbage, got 'em acting a fool. We flossing with rides, stunting with chains, but these bars we spitting just bring more pain. We guilty as hell, preaching all these lies, selling debt to the kids, and we acting surprised. We commercialize the pain, broadcast the grief, tell the youth to hustle, but hide the beef. We glorify the trap, invite them to the flames, just like Reagan brought the crack on planes back in the 80s when the streets got soaked. My people, my brothers, all got choked. Reagan said no trades, but we know the deal. He left us in the dirt. Man, that shit was real. I was just a shorty watching it unfold, old enough to see how we got sold. War on drugs, but it was war on us. Cops on our necks, no love, no trust. They labeled us thugs, beasts on the block, made us kiss the pavement while they cleaned our clock. Prison became business thanks to Reagan's game. Free labor's the truth in America's name. Slavery's dead, man. That's just a word. Read the 13th Amendment, it's still absurd. They lock us in cages, serving time for life. Double digits for wisdom, cutting sharp like a knife. I'm here to say, the chains in the air, it's time we break free, start showing we care. No more flexing for nothing, no more selling out. It's time to rise up.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This morning I got, I already do it. Start with independent music. This morning I got Real, Recognized Real, OG Boo Dirty, and that's 2 times, and we'll be right back right after this.
Hey, Rodney, I said I got scarred from mental health issues.
Yeah.
This shit traumatized me. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You gotta put it there.
You better not put it. Come on.
I'm talking about.
Let's do it right there.
Yeah.
You get beat right now.
I said what I said. When I said I got scarred from mental health issues, got stuck in the system. This shit traumatized me. That's what I mean.
Talking to the moon.
Finesse. Hey, boo. Hey. Like them niggas want us to beef about some shit I done said. Like,
That what suckers want a nigga to do.
you know what I'm saying? Everybody gotta live and learn. For real.
Nah, for real. Like, real niggas do real shit.
Dig dick.
Real men know when they make mistakes and what they got to fix.
Almighty.
Real talk. Double up.
Ay, about some shit they done put on the internet. Ain't gonna lie, when I said it, I meant that. Real, recognize real, it is what it is, nigga. And I gotta fix that.
When I saw that was out of my body, we rectified, so we keep it solid. See, we from the streets, we don't do internet beef. Sit back and let niggas gossip.
I ain't pussy, I know you ain't pussy neither. You ain't ducking no smoke, I ain't ducking either. Walking home, you know me. When I used to pull up on King, shoot dice one needle. I looked up to you, I looked up to Duke. I got niggas, they look up to me. Say what you want, nigga, know I'm a G. One day a condos in the easy side.
You were there, so you know how it went. I point my finger and they went and spent. If you had a problem, you should've came and hollered at me. You know I'm real as it get. The brother ain't ducking no rent, but we can't do that, just out of respect. If you wrong, I'ma tell you wrong. And fuck how you feel, I'm standing on that.
F&G, why I'm in this bitch. Mom tired out in Houston, they feel me. Give a fuck with no internet, say that nigga going ain't Ruben, bro, he know the real me.
I jumped off the plane with a chop in the 38. You thought I was crazy, nigga. We from the gutter, and you like my brother, and Memphis what made us, nigga. See, little bro, this just how I got to go. You got to stop feeding into all that bullshit. Go get the money, nigga. We come from a small city that's gonna do a lot of hate. Can't get caught up in this shit. Like, keep going, nigga. What else you gonna do? Go back to the shithole? Nah, for real.
When it's all said and done, we men. I want me and your kids to be friends. They want me to crash, want me in the pen. See me all on my skin. War wounds from mental health issues got stuck in the system. That shit traumatized me. See, bro, I wasn't taught to be silent. I ain't had no guidance.
They left me for dead, I'm a soldier. I ain't snaking no nigga, I'm a cobra. If you keep going for that, you letting them win. It's gonna break you down like a motor. Just think about the shit I told you. You know I'm gangsta, I'm just older. We gon' keep getting money and take care of the kids and live a little longer.
Disenfranchised Real, OG Boo Dirty, and Finesse 2 times. This morning I want to start off. I know it's Friday. We're gonna get into a lot of things this morning, and but I want to get into one of the first things that I want to get into is about DHS and ICE, uh, and other things, right? Because ICE was just approved for, I think it was like $20 million in some gloves that are really going to shock people or whatever. It's kind of funny. And that's what I want to start off with this morning is about ICE. And so we're going to just get right into it because a lot of things need to be said. And we need to have conversations that I really don't think that people are having because they're so complicated, but when they're really not. We make it complicated because the truth doesn't. When you research it and when you look at it, it makes sense. We are the ones that make it harder. We oversimplify it when it's really just simple. So here we go with ICE operations.
New for you tonight, we are digging into court documents revealing a surveillance campaign by Homeland Security during Operation Metro Surge. In the nearly 200-page document, the attorney for one of 15 defendants charged with obstructing federal agents says the government spied on churches, schools, and libraries to investigate anti-ICE organizers and left-leaning groups. Richard Reeve joins us live from the Alex Preddy Memorial in South Minneapolis with what the feds are alleged to have done and the privacy concerns this is raising. Rich?
Yeah, Kevin, all this linked to 2 separate investigations by the Trump administration, Operation Puppet Master and Operation Wilbur Shield. Now, that first began just days after the shooting of Alex Preddy by federal agents here in South Minneapolis. Are there any privacy concerns with some of this new information?
I found it astonishing how much surveillance was going on, and of course it implicates personal privacy.
These new court documents detail how federal agents infiltrated protests, group chats, and community meetings. They collected license plate numbers of anti-ICE protesters and activists, then searched social media and compiled an intel workup that included names, photos, addresses, and personal information.
The government is not supposed to be conducting surveillance of individuals or their communications without some kind of probable cause that they're engaging in illegal activity.
Jane Kirtley, a media ethics and law professor, says that's protected information.
Again, constitutionally protected activity of monitoring agents, ICE agents, and streets, and using that to essentially build dossiers that would be used to formulate some kind of criminal charges against some of these participants.
The filing also says that in some meetings, undercover agents actively participated in organizing and directing the groups they were surveilling, at times working to entice people into discussing or committing crimes. Its activity, Kirtley says, was banned by Congress in the 1970s.
Who said when people are engaging in organizing and legitimate First Amendment activities, putting in covert agents to try to encourage them, incite them to engage in illegal activity is simply wrong. It's illegal.
Beyond the undercover work, documents also say agents investigated unions and nonprofits that Homeland Security believed had ties to Direct Action Minnesota, a coalition at the center of the June indictment. It says HSI surreptitiously obtained financial records in an attempt to uncover domestic terrorist financing. Now, among those groups, the Minneapolis Federation of Educators. President Marcia Howard calls the investigation politically motivated and says Minneapolis educators worked in union to exercise our constitutional rights to peacefully protest Operation Metro Surge and other discriminatory policies of the president, and we will continue to do so. Now, we did receive a comment from Homeland Security just within the past hour or so. They say they don't comment on the existence or status of specific investigations or their investigative methods.
You know what's crazy is like when I was, a lot of the things that we did back when I was in BLM was through Signal, through chats. And there was some shit that, you know, the crazy thing of it is like what I don't understand, right? And and I can say this a lot was coming out from Cam, Higby, and others. You know, they would infiltrate these groups and these signal chats, and stuff was coming out. Now, what I will say is that sometimes there's shit in there that should not really be said. It should only be said in between human to human contact, human to human conversation. Shouldn't be on the motherfucking no messenger, no signal. And that's what's wrong with this, because I, I want to say something. A lot of these people, when it comes to like Marsha Howard, and they'll talk about Donald Trump, right? But they won't say shit about the motherfucking Democrats that we have in our own motherfucking communities. And that be fraud, they be scamming. But then I understand, because when you look at it, they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. And that's what I need to get motherfuckers to understand. That's what I need motherfuckers to understand, is they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. They're not. That's what, this is what I want you to know, right? Because it's coming clearer and clearer. Because I remember even back when there was a protest, they won at Judge True's. That's not where we originally wanted to go. We originally wanted to go to Keith Ellison's. To Keith Ellison's. They would never let us protest at Keith Ellison's. And I never understood it. I never understood it. So I would, even when it came to Mayor Frey, like when Mayor Frey put up the sign or for, you know, George Floyd Square, the street or whatever, you had activists, whatever, there. I was at this nigga house. I was at Frey house. Seeing this nigga walk back into his house. Even when it came to some of these other people, like Bobby Champion, you know how many times I wanted to go to that nigga house? And they wouldn't let us. They wouldn't let us. So it just never like, these motherfuckers be buddy with the same people that be harming the poor community, and then say the shit's not going on. Why do you lie? Even when it comes to the black agenda. Y'all need to go look up omnibus bills. And you see how much is going to nonprofits. And then you have people saying that they're self-made men. Shut the fuck up. A grant is what made you, nigga. A grant from either the city or a state or even from a nonprofit, because you have a salary, because you have a title. So then you move out into you move out of the environment that you grew up in, that you were raised. You wanted to make better. That's what you say. So you don't live there anymore. You only work there. I'm gonna say that again. You don't live there. You work there. There's a difference. There's a difference. And I just never understood it. It's just crazy, because a lot of these people, like, I had their address, and I still do. When somebody's wanted to know somebody's address, they came to me. They came to me. It didn't matter if it was in Akron. Man, listen, it's crazy how, and then I started to really see why these people were not being able to do the things that we need to do. Is because they were getting paid. They had a salary, or they were getting grants. So then it made me like really see like, damn, these motherfuckers ain't shit. They sit here, and that's why you never see anybody at the actual, when something happens, you always see them afterwards. I'm gonna say that again. You don't never see these people when the shit going on. You only see them afterwards, because they get calls. We used to be, you know what's crazy? We used to beat these people to the cause, because they would never show up till afterwards. We would beat them to the scene. I don't know how many motherfucking times we had beat them. Lisa Clemens, Sharif Willis, Jerry McAfee.
We was always the first on the scene. That's why I don't understand it. And it's like, y'all have such an issue with ICE, but then put Minneapolis police or St. Paul police or sheriffs, state patrol on the back burners. All because in your mind, these are Nazis, Gestapos. Like, cut it out. That's why, to be honest, I don't even, when it comes to these people in Minneapolis or in St. Paul that say that they work for, nonprofits, and I'm like, they're paid puppets. Every single last one of them paid puppets. And it's fucking sad that we go through that shit. It's sad. But black people don't want to stand up. They don't want to stand up. They would rather the shit keep going on because they're getting paid. You can't do anything real because these people are getting paid. Look at 990 forms. Ask them for it. And you'll see. It's what I don't understand, man. It's like, why do we have so many people in our community that are blind? But then I understand it, though. Because they get paid. They get grants. But call themselves self-made men. Shut the fuck up, because you're lying. You're not a self-made man. You would not be in the position you're in if it wasn't for the Democrats. Let's be honest. These people would not be in the positions they were in if it wasn't for the Democrats. If it was, because I'll tell you like this, the Republicans, that's why there isn't a very big Republican base in the Twin Cities, is because they don't want to do it on their own. That's why you don't see that. They want to keep that handout. They want to keep that handout so they don't bite the hand that feeds them. And it's sad as hell that people don't understand that.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers may soon have gloves that can deliver painful electric shocks. The federal agency plans to spend between $10 and $20 million to purchase the new accessories that have already been used by some jails and police departments. CBS News immigration correspondent Camila Montoya-Galvez and CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson are here to break this down for us. So, Camila, let's begin with what we know about these gloves. How would they be used?
Well, Lindsay, DHS posted a notice on Monday, the Department of Homeland Security, saying that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, is looking to spend between $10 and $20 million, as you underscored, to purchase some of the devices that you mentioned. The device is called CTG5 glove, and they are literally gloves, but that also stands for Generated Low Output Voltage Emitter. And again, the price tag is between $10 and $20 million. The company that sells the gloves says that they are designed to de-escalate situations between law enforcement officials and people who are non-compliant, people who are not complying with their directions, and that they subdue really subjects by delivering electrical pulses and shocks. And the context here is really critical because we have seen, as you know, many incidents across the country over the past year and a half under the second Trump administration of tense encounters between ICE agents and community members, protesters, and in some cases, the people they are trying to arrest. And in some cases, some of them have led to fatal shootings, including those two shootings we saw in Maine and Texas in July. And ICE typically says, Lindsay, that the people involved weaponize their vehicle or refuse to comply with commands. This could be a way potentially to address that. But of course, there are many concerns. We're talking about a device that has a maximum voltage of about 380 volts, and that has to be applied directly on the skin of a subject. It does not work when somebody has a vest or a sweater or a jacket. And the company that sells the glove says that they should not be used on high-risk populations, including the elderly, small children, pregnant women, and severely disabled people.
How does this compare to a taser?
It's a good question. The company that sells them says they are more discreet and more non-lethal, if you will, than a taser.
What did you say the voltage is?
380 volts. And again, the
So it's
Department of
less than a taser.
Yes, and the Department of Homeland Security is saying that this is still under review, that it is constantly reviewing and assessing options for ICE agents to protect themselves and to carry out operations. But the ACLU has already come out strongly against it, saying that it is, quote, terrifying to have ICE agents having this device because the organization believes that they have already proven that they are too quick to use force under the second Trump administration.
Camila Montero-Gavez, thank you. So let's bring in Jessica Levinson in Los Angeles. What are some of the constitutional questions that could come up with this?
So one of the big constitutional questions is whether the use of these gloves could constitute excessive use of force under the Fourth Amendment. You just had a great conversation, obviously, with Camilo about exactly what is the force here that would be used. How does this compare to tasers? Legally speaking, I think you would look at a lot of cases where tasers are used and look at the different factors that courts consider, like whether or not there's a safety threat, whether or not people are resisting arrest, whether or not, frankly, there's anything to de-escalate. Obviously, what's different here is that you're talking about a lower wattage, but you're also talking about, I noticed when you had the conversation of this is more discreet, you're talking about a situation where there's arguably less accountability. I can see when somebody takes a taser out, if somebody puts their hands on someone else, if an ICE agent put their hands on somebody they're trying to detain, it may not immediately be clear that they are about to use that electric shock. So tasers are a really good legal analogy, but it's not a perfect one.
That's interesting because, like Joe says, these less lethal weapons will need training, and yes, they do, because we've seen that where, like, even the situation with Dante Wright, where Kim Potter thought she grabbed her taser and it was her gun. So is this going to be something that is going to, I don't know. I mean, because there is a lot of people out there with health issues, especially that be out there protesting, wheelchairs, canes, especially against ICE. So if it gets used on them, are we going to have more deaths? I don't know. That's kind of tricky because a lot of shit does go on, but there's a lot of things that we should also have discussions about. I don't think there's a problem with law enforcement, federally or locally, being able to defend themselves the same way that we can. I think it's so much that people don't understand that they have rights, that they have freedoms, because they feel like they're oppressed, and you're really not. It's more of a mental slavery than it's anything else. The more you believe that you're in that system, that you're handcuffed, you're letting them bring you down. That's why I got tired of all that, especially when it came to a book that I read like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago that I read it, Adam B. Coleman. And that was one of the things that really made me see even bigger, even like Dr. Claude Anderson, or even rest in peace, Ron Edwards. I got to see the bigger picture, and it was way more than what these activists or like BLM was trying to tell me or even to teach me, because it was more of, you don't need to know, just get out there and, march and do rallies. And it's like, wait, but what am I doing? I mean, I'm just yelling at empty buildings. Nobody's even in the state capitol. Or even when we went to Governor Walz's house, like, we're sitting behind like a fence. Like, is that like really? It's not protesting. Shit, like, I just didn't understand it. And it's like, we're not getting change. And I mean, I didn't see a lot of shit because I really wasn't, interested in that, or I really didn't care. It wasn't neither than that. I was just selfish. And still, people are still in that mentality, but still yet call themselves pastor or a executive director of a nonprofit or a bishop. And these people be straight crooks, but because they have that title, people hold them to a higher pedestal. And I don't understand why. They're just humans. They're just humans. They're human just like we are. And that's why, like I've been said, man, like people have to stand up. Because even when it comes to what I'm about to talk about next, is the taxes. How many cities right now, even schools, are facing deficits for their next budget years? There's tons of them. And you know who's going to feel that? Us, the taxpayers. Because we put money into this shit. And yet we don't never get no transparency. We don't ever get no truth. But yet they want more money. What are you getting for your vote? What are you getting for your vote? Are you getting a representative that has your interest, your morals, your values? Because a lot of this should be popularity. And you can tell that just by the polls, the elections. It's about popularity. It's not about policy. It's about popularity. And I think to me that's stupid. And even when you look at the the map of Minnesota, right? For at least for the primary, and you would think Minnesota is a red state. But because so much population is in one, two, three, four areas that really outnumber the rest of Minnesota. So it looks like we're a red state, but that's totally wrong. Just because the map might look red doesn't mean that we're red. It's that when you look at them areas where them blue is at, you already know. And then you understand, can't understand of why we're like this is because elections have consequences. When are y'all gonna understand elections have consequences? Okay, so I'm gonna break it down just a little bit for y'all, right? So when it comes to Heritage Park, I'm gonna talk about Heritage Park first, and then I'm gonna go to Rochester with DMC. So if you look at Heritage Park, right, that conversation's been going on since 1990, which most of these people who are in elected or in leadership roles were not here. They were somewhere else. So they're not going to remember Sumner projects. They're not going to remember the Holloman lawsuit. They're not going to remember the consent decree that went along with that. So when you see the problems that Heritage Park is having now, and then you look back at Sumner, you see nothing's changed. Only thing that's changed is what the leadership looks like. That's it. That's it. That is it. And then you go to Rochester. You look at the DMC. I know a lot of people are getting in an uproar because of the construction. And come on now, if you've been in Rochester since at least because it got passed in I believe 2013. So DMC's been something for a very, very long time. It's not something that they just came up with overnight. Because if you really cared about Rochester, you would want to make sure that you're becoming knowledgeable about the city you're living in if you can help it, right? They're not doing that. They get on Facebook or they go to the left-leaning media and they complain about, oh, the streets shut down. Listen, y'all didn't care. Listen, you know why most people don't even know about? Because they weren't in Rochester. They were somewhere else. They were somewhere else. And that shows because they don't even care about that the DMC was passed in 2013. Or you even go look up at Upward Bound, their little DMC plan or whatever. And a lot of the shit that we once knew won't be there. Even when this electric or whatever car, train, whatever the fuck they're about to do, because I know y'all see the shit going on around Mayo Civic Center. There's supposed to be some kind of line or some shit goes from Cascade to goes downtown, I believe that it is, but it's supposed to be some kind of transit shit to make it faster. Now, when you look at Rochester's 2030 and 2040 plans, you can see that they would love for Rochester in this for it to be a 15-minute city. And now what a 15-minute city is that you have everything that you can get to within 15 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's by car or walking. You can still get there within 15 minutes of walking, right? Or taking the bus. But your movies, your entertainment, healthcare, judicial, malls, entertainment shit, restaurants, everything would be within just an arm's length away. And yet people don't understand that. That's because they say they care. But when you really ask questions, they're like, well, I didn't know about that. What? No, tell me that again. Because the people talking about all these venues of entertainment are closing down. Just wait, because North Star Bar is going to be next. I'm going to say it again. North Star Bar is going to be next, just like with Brothers. See, the difference of North Star is they're getting rid of that. When Cheap Charlie's was sold, see, what people don't understand about Cheap Charlie's is North Star rented their parking. They rented their lot because they own that. Cheap Charlie's did. So not North Star, they didn't own that, and that's private property. So they had to get permission. That's why if you ever went into the parking lot area and they would like divide and blah, that's because North Star Bar doesn't have any parking like that. So North Star Bar will be next. Just wait to what I'm saying. North Star Bar will be next. So of course you're going to hear musicians say, oh, what about us? What about us? What do you mean? You should have been paying attention. Motherfuckers be so wrapped up in their lives, right, that they don't even care about what's going on around them until it affects them. Shouldn't be like that, because at some point you're going to feel it. And I think that is a lot of the cases that's happening now. So let me get into this budget talk about Minneapolis and St. Paul both looking at 26 million, I think it's in St. Paul. And right now, Minneapolis is about 30.
Proposals from mayors of the two cities.
Cuts to some services are also on the table in a tale of two budgets. So Fox 9's Corin Hoggard was there today for the St. Paul proposal, and he is joining us now live. So Corin, a lot of people are concerned about taxes. So can you break it down for us? How much more could residents be paying in the two big cities?
Yeah, Simone and Kelsey, a day after Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey proposed an 11.3% property tax increase, Mayor Kali Her here in St. Paul is proposing her own increase. This one would be about 6.8%. So in St. Paul, that would represent about a $58 increase for the median property owner. Now, keep in mind, this is just for the city's portion of property taxes, not your whole bill. In Minneapolis, Mayor Frey's budget would cost the median owner an extra $409. And the two cities had already topped the list for the highest effective property tax rates in the state. That's according to the most recent Department of Revenue reports. And the response from some city council members in both cities is, that's too much.
I am concerned about hearing a budget that's going to have a 6.8% property tax increase. I am hearing from all of my residents, all the business owners in my ward, that affordability is the top concern. Costs are going up in every other way, and we absolutely need to bring that down.
So, Corin, despite the sizable tax increases that they're proposing, they're also calling for some cuts. So what are those cuts? What's on the table right now?
Yes, so Kelsey, in Minneapolis, Mayor Frey proposed cuts to the Community Service Officers Program and also pretty drastic cuts to the Violence Interrupter programs. In St. Paul, the Dayton Bluff Library would likely close. Other libraries probably would get reduced hours. Rec centers would get reduced hours, Edgecombe especially. And the mayor actually said that she would take a $20,000 pay cut, and she wants to cut supervisory positions in the police department. That would reduce the force there by a little bit. She also is, in addition to cutting her own salary, saying that the top 3 salaried folks in her office would take pay cuts.
I made clear that we should protect represented employees at the lower end of the pay scale, prioritize reduction in management and leadership positions where possible, and ensure that new revenues do not come at the expense of people who are already struggling to make ends meet.
So, Corin, just thinking about sort of a timeline here, these proposals are mostly just the start of the process, though, right? So what comes next, and how can people weigh in with their ideas?
Yes, Simone, the mayor's proposals are far from final. There's going to be months of public hearings where people can have their voices heard. Ultimately, the city councils have the final say, and that comes in December. And I should point out that over the last several years, at least in both of these cities, what's typically happened is the mayors make a property tax increase proposal, and there's negotiations, and city council generally comes in with an increase, but a much lower increase.
Yeah, still a lot of steps, so we'll have to see what happens there in St. Paul.
Yeah, because at some point, government has to answer a simple question. How much more can the taxpayer take? You cannot continuously increase the cost of living and then act surprised when people are frustrated. And if the taxes are going up while services are being cut, taxpayers have every right to ask, where's the money going? What are we funding? What are we cutting? What programs are actually working? What programs are failing? Who is being held accountable? And most importantly, why does government always seem to find more money when it's time to spend, but suddenly become broke when taxpayers demand better services? That question belongs to every Minneapolis and St. Paul resident, regardless of political party. And that is very true because we are the people that take it the hardest. It's not the rich, it's the poor people. We take it the hardest because they always try to cut us first. It's like this is part of the reason that they fought for LIFO, last in, first out. And I know a lot of people don't understand that, but if you look at the policy, it was supposed to help the teachers and that is mainly the Black, brown population that just ended up starting to work there. But they were getting hacked off first. And with that LIFO, that's not how it went. So they did have a little bit more protection. The teachers did, but not very much more. I know a conversation that is really, really heavy right now a little bit, and it should be. It's about what is Black. And what people don't understand is that Black can be a color and also ethnicity, because that's what we have. We don't, I remember back in the 80s, and they used to call us African American. I'm like, wait, hold up. I don't know anything about Africa. I don't know anything. And it's been over like 200 years since my people have even been on that continent. So they don't know that. There's some of my ancestors that had never seen Africa. But yet you can't say that about a lot of these other newer people because they're Jamaicans or Trinidadians or African, Somalian, Nigerian. That's African. But they wanted to put that on us. And the crazy part of it, not a lot of us had generations since we've been on that continent. It's been generations. Like, I can prove that my people came back or came onto this country when they were enslaved back in the 1600s. My mom's side of the family, my uncle, I think he was a cousin, but William Floyd, one of the founders, one of the people that were part of the Declaration of Independence. If those people who founded America, I think it's like 50-something people, if they looked at America now, do you think that they'd be disgusted? Or they would say, wow, this is the way that we wanted it to be. And I don't believe that question is asked enough, because we always want to put it into context. But during the times, I mean, come on, because at first, when they first founded America, They didn't see everybody the same. But yet we do now in 2026. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And like I said, we need to start being able to delineate. And there's some people that won't allow us to, and because they want to call everybody black, because it works for everyone, but it doesn't work for Black Americans because we're so much co-opted. It doesn't matter if it's, one of the things that I can bring up, even about our Black organizations. I mean, I look at the NAACP now, especially in they have a Nigerian who just ain't even got any other generation over here but him. How can he be like, yeah, this should just be wild. So I just seen that it wasn't really about what was right. It was about what they can show you. And once people found out, they'd still nobody cares. Because let me stop right there. So I'm gonna show this video.
Do you think it's divisive or you think it's necessary?
Again, I grew up in East Flatbush, who was every single person in East Flatbush delineates. I don't understand. The Trinis have their flag. When I used to be at the parties, okay? I used to be at the parties jumping up with the American flag. Everybody has they have songs about it. Jump and wave. Jump and wave. What are you waving? Your flag. Everybody comes with their own flag. So this conception or this new thing that people are saying that it's divisive, I'm completely confused as to why it's divisive, because where I grew up, everyone had their flag and everyone respected everybody's flag. It was like, oh, word, that's where you from? Oh, word, that's where you from? You know what I'm saying? How many, I told y'all before, I would be on Eastern Parkway with red, white, and blue from head to toe. They calling me Miss America, Miss America, Miss America. Why? Because I always represented in a sea full of Caribbeans. I always represented where I was from. So delineation is and where we're at right now. Again, I'm gonna bring it back to politics, right? Because of the politics, because we have a Wes Moore, because we have a Byron Donalds, because we have a Kamala Harris, because we have because we got a Barack Obama, because we have had all of these people infiltrate our American politics as Black people, cosplaying as American Black people, the delineation is absolutely and positively necessary. As a matter of fact, we will be reintroducing along with the U.S. Freedmen Project, we will be reintroducing, shout out to our champion assembly person, Nikki Lucas, please vote for her. So we will be reintroducing our delineation bill. That way we could have this down. See, as they try to say, that we're only online. No, we do work in real life, in politics. That's what we are concerned about. This is not a conversation that we're only having online. We're introducing a bill that we can delineate and know who we are in this state. You know, we have reparations hearings they stopped the hearings, but there's a reparations commission that is currently just got an extension of two more years, right? And so this discussion about reparations, and it's based on an unconstitutional bill. And why is it unconstitutional? It's unconstitutional because it is race-based. So we have people in we have people in our politics that are pushing for race-based solutions in a world where race-based is not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work because it's unconstitutional, and it doesn't work. We see that when things happen, like Lovely just talked about, and we talked about the fact that these foreign businesses or immigrants are allowed to get certain set-asides that we're not allowed to get. So there are things that are happening. So if there's something for minorities, Kathy Holcomb just released, I think it was a few months ago, I think she gave out, was it $16 million to a historically Black neighborhood? but there's no not many historically black people living there anymore. It's a bunch of immigrants. So we see set-asides that are being given to other groups in our name based on the harms that we suffered. And these people didn't suffer a goddamn thing, but you're getting the set-asides. And this is what delineation is really about. It's not just a conversation online, or I don't want to be seen as the same as you. No. Like I said, with the sick child, it is time for us to look at ourselves and how we're going to fix ourselves in the country that we built. You guys are getting foreign aid. President Devine talked about how much foreign aid is coming out this country. Are you guys sharing that with us? No, they're not. Are they, when they have scholarships for Haitians, or scholarships for immigrants, or scholarships for all of these things, are they sharing any of that with us? No, they are not. But at the same time, you guys are getting Juneteenth scholarships?
Right.
Like, this is the issue. And this is why delineation is.
Hey, man, I've been saying the same thing since 2021, because I'll tell you like this. I don't have nothing about no other, other African groups, black groups, whatever you want to call it. But I will say this is why we try to integrate their traditions during Juneteenth or even Black History Month when it's not about that. We're not trying to unite the diaspora during this shit, because they don't even want to tell us Black American history. They try to whitewash it. And I don't mean no disrespect to any white people that are listening, right? None at all. I don't mean it. No disrespect. But I'm just trying to tell the truth of what it is, because I never did. Like, it's crazy how we try to interject so many other African groups or Black groups like Jamaicans and so many other people, and we get left behind. We get left behind. It's like even somebody, I know they said about Big Mensa. Man, his daddy ain't Black. His daddy from Ghana. So, first of all, why is somebody trying to say something about slavery or even Jim Crow when his Black family wasn't even from over here? So they don't know nothing about Jim Crow. They know nothing about Black codes. They know nothing about slavery, at least American slavery, chattel slavery, where people were property. The same thing of our iPhones, cups, we were property. That's how they seen us. Property. I don't have nothing against white people. I'll say it like this. Some of the people that I care about the most are white, that I've loved and still love. My mom, she white. My grandma, grandpa on my mom's side, loved them to death. But the truth is the truth. And I'm tired of being called hateful for just speaking the truth. I don't get that. And we have so many Black people that would rather want to get paid or be sitting at the table instead of making our own, because that table over there is not working. Why is this the whole thing? Even when it came to Mike Lindell and Phil Parrish, I mean, I'm steady trying to have them be write-in candidates. Fuck, nothing bad about the Republicans, but fuck the Republicans. They're part of the problem as well. They're part of the problem. And you know what's crazy is I was not anything bad speaking about Minnesota Speaks, right? Nothing. I got nothing bad to say about Minnesota Lady, Lieutenant Aldo. Those are great ass people, great fucking people. You know what's crazy is, we might not agree on everything eye to eye, but I can tell you right now is that I don't see Bobby Joe Champion or Latricia Vitar, because I don't have the same beliefs. I don't have the same morals. But see, with another group of people, conservatives, I do. Because there's a lot of things that go on in the Black community that don't even get talked about because everybody buddy. or don't even get addressed because people are buddy-buddy. And it plays into our politics, even when it comes to the street gangs. They want to call themselves violence interrupters now, put on some motherfucking t-shirts. Stop it. Y'all niggas was just out selling cocaine 2 years ago to these streets. That's why I look at a lot of these people like Jason Soul or Eliza Darris or Kevin Reese. You niggas, like, stop it. Stop it. You guys are paid puppets. Puppets. Because when it comes to really standing up, y'all don't be around. You niggas be hiding. You be in the house. That's why I call you house niggas. You're not out here in the field with us. You niggas are in a big house with the white people. And I'm out here in the fields with the niggas and the white overseers. Because they were treated just like we were. They might have been treated a little bit better. They were treated just like we were. Most of them were probably enslaved. Not enslaved, indentured. My bad, different word, indentured. They were just like us. Irish, Italians, Swedish. Well, I don't know about Swedish, but at least Ireland and Italian. They seen us just like they seen them. And it's like even white. Everybody ain't white. Listen, because how can you call a Mexican that has different skin, call them white? Our shit is so fucked up that people don't even want to have a conversation about it because they believe it's too uncomfortable, or they get scared. They don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. They don't want to tell people the truth. They don't want to give them transparency.
Absolutely, positively necessary. It's not that I don't like you. I already told you. I got Caribbeans that's close to me like family. Close to me like family. It's not about I don't like you. It's about our birthright and what we deserve, what we have built, what we have fought for, what we deserve in this country, what they owe us. I have said at the reparations hearings that reparations is a debt owed. It is back payment. Since everybody is familiar with that, right? You work a job, they don't pay you. You sue them for what? Back payment. We are suing this government for back pay for services rendered in this country, on this soil that, might I add, is drenched in our blood. So we are fighting for our back payment. If you were not here to give the services, or if you were not here as those services were stolen from you, then you do not deserve reparations here. Go elsewhere. Because we know another thing they try to say online is we act like we were the only ones that went through slavery. No, but we are the only ones that went through slavery here.
Right.
In America.
Right.
So if you did not go through, if your ancestors did not go through slavery here in America, go to that government that enslaved you and get your reparations over there. And when you do, or if you do, I bet you there won't be not near a foundational Black American in your way. As we sit here and have plenty, I'm going to, member Salages, you stand in our way. That's a Haitian American assemblywoman. She stands in our way. President Devine met with her and told her that that bill was unconstitutional, and you did it anyway. You don't deserve reparations in this country, but you're sitting here and you're making sure that you make our reparations unconstitutional. And this is the problem that I'm talking about.
Lovely.
No, I don't think it's divisive because it's the way of the land. I think when it comes to delineation, I grew up in a lot of parts of New York, specifically Harlem, but then when we moved to the Wakefield section of the Bronx, that's White Plains Road, if anybody knows. If I walked into a Jamaican restaurant and asked for a double,
Yeah.
They're gonna look at me like
what?
The fuck if I went into a Jamaican restaurant and asked for tamarind sauce.
What?
Then be like, go to the Trinidadian restaurant because we don't sell that here.
Come on.
And I would have to walk out and respect that shit. If I were to call a Jamaican a Trinidadian, they're gonna fight me. So that's just the Caribbeans alone. Now we're gonna go to the Africans. I used to work in an African hair salon. You want to see a fight? Call them African. Group them as one solid thing. I had a young lady. She was 19. Called me crying. Lovely, I don't want to hate you. I said, what are you talking about? The owner, she called me a stupid Fulani. I said, why? Because I taught her a braid pattern that I made money off of, that I taught myself. And she told her, you know you're supposed to take advantage of the American, you stupid Fulani. Ooh. So she didn't even identify her as her name. She disrespected her because of her tribe. I think there's a movie called Hotel Rwanda.
Rwanda.
That's just the Africans. Right. Now we're going to talk about white people. You want to start a fight? Go into an Italian restaurant and call them white. They're gonna be like, I'm not white. The hell is wrong with you? Tell somebody from the Ukraine that they white. They're gonna be like, I'm not fucking white. What's wrong with you? And they're going to break it down by their food. So I'm trying to understand why every other culture, every other ethnicity can delineate with food, clothing, language.
Great point.
I wasn't gonna go there, but let's talk about the Hispanics. A Hispanic can tell, girl, a Dominican can tell a Dominican from a Puerto Rican by the way they talk.
That's right.
Just certain words that they're using. They could tell if you're Panamanian. And as Black Americans, we just be like, oh, okay. And we don't tell you that you're wrong for that. So now when we're like, okay, we 400 acres mules away from not getting what the fuck y'all said we were supposed to get many eons ago, and we want it now. So now we paying attention. Okay, Jewish people are white. We don't really, y'all are white. But in order to get that money from that Holocaust, you delineated from white American culture and called yourself Jews.
That's right.
Why we can't do that?
Yep.
We're doing it for the purpose of chattel slavery was something that was specifically caused to Black Americans on Black American, Black American soil, as she said, because it's staying with our blood and our hard work.
That's right.
And we ain't get nothing for it.
Nothing.
So I'm pretty sure if we got it back then, because I can't do shit with a horse now, a mule, I can't do shit with that. I don't know what 40 acres in New York City and it's sinking would mean now. So now we got to fight. We have to speak up and say, no, I'm not African. Because guess what? I believe Brooke would know. I think we all know. What's CARICOM? That's for Caribbean, Jamaicans, and whatever specific harms were caused to them over there. We do not go over to other countries and say, I want what you deserve. We go over there and we put money in. We go on vacations and you still treat us like shit. So when we go over there, you delineate against us. So that's why I said it ain't a war. It's just a bunch of people on the internet talking shit. And I land.
You landed well.
Delineation is not divisive. It's not. Foundational Black Americans, we are out here fighting for our lives. We are out here fighting for our lives, and this is nothing to play with. Everybody, when you look around in New York, right, you got your little Ghana, you got your little Haiti, you got your little Africa, you got the Dominican, the Cuchifritos, you got all of this, right, all of these little enclaves and communities within communities, and they all get to have cultural autonomy.
Right.
Without question, we don't challenge them or anything. I know I used to go to the Labor Day parade and I was out there with them. That all of that, right. You know what I'm saying? Relishing in their culture, and guess what? Took my ass home. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's how Black Americans are. We're more accepting of everyone's culture. Now I'm gonna say with this, and we deserve to stand in our cultural preservation, have clarity, and set.
That's true though. I mean, we call Jamaicans. They can probably be Jamaicans. Trinidadians, we call them Trinidad. Nigerians can identify as Nigerian. Ghana can identify as Ghanaians. Italians, Italian. Irish American, Mexican American. So I don't why do we call all these other ethnicities, these nationalities, something that they're not? And I feel like that is part of like the biggest problem. The biggest, because number one, our ancestors endured slavery, Reconstruction, black codes, Jim Crow, segregation, discrimination, and generations of American history. So I really don't see what the big problem is making sure that we clarify who we are. Because nobody on earth has gone through what the Black American has gone through. You maybe have gone through it in another country, but you never gone through it in America. That's only the Black Americans. So I don't get it. With Jamaicans, y'all call them Jamaican. Y'all want to go get Jamaica? Y'all don't say black. That's like what's really crazy to me is like we bunch everybody into one. And then that's the problem when we try to delineate ourselves into what we should be and making sure that we separate ourselves, just like the Somalis, just like the Nigerians, just like the Ethiopians, the South Africans. And yet they get bunched into being called black. That's crazy as fuck to me. I wanted to play a little bit of Reverend Tim Christopher. This is his Wednesday. His Wednesday podcast. But I think there is a part that I want to play, and it's about 7 minutes long. Let me see if I can get
in prison on false
Okay, hold on.
He never really came off of that red meat. That's where he stayed. He thought it was his job to give them the crazy Republicans. They had to have that red meat no matter who he was talking to, where he was talking, whatever. So I knew he was not going to be in the race. I knew he wasn't going to stand the test of time. And then you have Royce White. Thank God. That's all I got to say about that one. That's it. No more. No, thank God. We're done with that. Done for you idiots out there. Oh, my God.
I voted for
Thank
him.
goodness. Thank goodness.
I voted for Royce.
Oh, thank goodness. Y'all just don't know. You don't know. Trust me when I say that. You don't know. For us who know, thank goodness. So, last night ended off with pretty much Amy Klobuchar, which that was a gimme, right? We all knew that was going to happen. We all knew that was going to go down. There was no ifs, ands, or buts when Amy was winning, right? So let me get some things off my chest when it comes to Amy, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now. I can say these things because I know these things. I did the research. When Amy was running for president, and Amy was over there in St. Louis Park, right? And this is when she called her whole bid to be president off when we took over the stage. Why? Because of the way she treated young black men to get to where she's at today. Amy Klobuchar, yes, she did. All right, so let's just get this out of the way. All right, and that goes for many other politicians, right? Many other politicians have gotten in the positions where they were in because of young black men and putting young black men in prison and in jail. And that was Amy Klobuchar, you know. And she can sit there and say she was just doing her job. Okay, that's cool, right? Amy was doing her job when she put Myron Burrell in prison on false pretense. When she put Mr. Haynes, Marvin Haynes, in prison on false pretense. But let me say this here also. When you start really doing some deep digging, the damn black community put them boys in prison on false pretense. So I'm not going to sit here and let anybody, not that I'm protecting Amy Klobuchar. That's not what this is about. Like I said, I protested. I was on that stage. I refused to get off that stage.
No, and I will say this, though, because I have been kind of like tough on Rev when it came to like the whole Marvin Haynes thing and with the churches paying a reward for false information that locked up Marvin Haynes. And he's always been there. He's always stood 10 toes down about that. And I do agree with him when it comes to Amy is at fault, but so is the black community. So is the black churches that banded together. Keith Ellison, they banded together to lock up people that were innocent. Timothy Magruder. You can talk about the Jerry Hoff case. Like there's so, that's why like we are so delusional and have amnesia and short-term memory when it comes to some of these politicians. I mean, it's even like Ilhan Omar, when I dug her up or whatever, and going through the shit she went through this, found an interview that she gave, I don't know, it was like 20 years, maybe like 15 years ago or whatever. And she was talking about how one of the college courses that she had took was about terrorism. And I found out, she didn't say where it was at, but I went to go look it up. And it was at North Dakota State University where she done her undergraduate program at. And one of the classes, Poll 120, is terrorism. And they were talking about basically everything about terrorism. And the part that really held me the longest was when she brought up Al-Qaeda. And that is something that is talked about during that course. So that's why when I look at these people, they always say they don't know what they're doing. They're lying because they do know. And we do need accountability in our community, big time, when it comes to the black churches, when it comes to the nonprofits, because they themselves have blood on their hands. I can go back to the NAACP, all the way back with some of their projects. They were involved in that, and now they want to be involved with Heritage Park. Why are we allowing the NAACP to be a part when all the way back in the Sumner days, they were being fraudulent with the money? Why are we, again, there's not enough people that do their homework or even care to do their research. And that's why when people come out with it, they don't believe certain people because of their past or because of the person's politics or, I don't know, anything else they try to do to make it look like that's not the truth when it actually is.
Until Amy Klobuchar, who was a coward and did not come out from her little dressing room at that school to talk to us, who she promised that she would come out and talk to us. And then when she turned into the biggest coward, she decided she wasn't coming out. So this isn't a protection or getting on Amy's train. No, that's not what this is about. I'm all about telling people, tell the damn truth. That's what I'm about. If you're going to tell a story, tell all of the story. It's the same thing when everybody always run around talking about Joe Biden and the 94 crime bill and all this here. Really? But you don't go and say nothing about the 83 Ronald Reagan crime bill who hurt just as many black people? I don't ever hear you talking about that. But you that's what you do. You don't talk about the crime bill that Daddy Bush signed. You don't ever talk about that. But we always fast forward to Joe Biden. No, because in 83, Ronald Reagan closed down the hospitals. And you know how most black people had to get off drugs? They didn't have facilities like they got for these white folks today. These opioid crises, guess what? You can go where? To facilities. What did Ronald Reagan do when black folks was hung out on crack? They went to jail. You know how they got off there? They went to jail. They spent time in jail. It wasn't no in facilities because Ronald Reagan closed all the hospitals. So when we talk about this stuff, see, this is why I always say you can tell when people don't know facts because they only tell you one little bitty piece. That's it. That's it. They don't give us what led up into that. Let me tell you what led up to the 94 crime bill. Ronald Reagan selling crack at the backside while Nancy Reagan is in the front of the White House telling people, say no to drugs. Ronald Reagan is selling crack, cocaine to the black community out of the backside. That happened. Period. Go, Gary Webb. Go read his books.
Right.
Go read his books. Look up Freeway Ricky Ross. I ain't got no reason to lie to you. Like I said before, the problem with me is I don't stay on the top, people. I keep telling y'all that. Anytime I get something, I go to the bottom because that's where the truth is. On the top, you just get half of it. Correct? Because that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. And all the facilities was closed down. So either there was one or two things you could do. You could go crazy, which a lot of black people did, trying to get off of the heroin, trying to get off of the crack, trying to get off of that. Or you can go to jail. And a lot of black people went to jail. Those are facts. If you did your research, you would be like, okay, he's right. I'm pissed at him, but he is right.
Right.
So when the 94 crime bill rolled around, black people in the community was on Clinton going, we need you to do something. We need black folks, black preachers, black teachers, black parents. We need you to do something. And when that 94 crime bill came down, there was no black people fighting that bill.
Right.
None. None. They all gave it the check of approval.
Right.
So when you on Joe Biden about that 94 crime bill, if you ain't on the black community for that 94, then you're not doing, you don't know what you're talking about.
That's where, I will say that I agree with Rev, because if we don't look at the cause of like what started these issues, of what even started these problems, and then try to pinpoint the blame to somebody else, we're not doing ourselves justice. We're not doing ourselves accountability. Because just even like with the Marvin Haynes and Mayan Burrell, yes, they might have pardoned, commuted, but we still haven't found the killer. We haven't found the killer. So is that justice? That people who, just like, I'll say this, right? Because, one thing that why the Black American experience is so different, because we can talk about things like this. Back in the 1940s, when my uncle, Willie Francis, was executed not once, but twice for a crime he never committed. But because of the color of his skin, he was guilty. That's a problem. And those are things that they can't talk about. That is something that they don't even know. They don't have that experience. That is not something that they can talk about. Because they don't have that experience. I want to show you just real quick. Find it. I wanted to talk about this, right? If it's not a Black American owned business, stop calling it Black owned. Black is an ethnicity, not a catch all label for every person of African descent. Words matter. Be specific. Black American owned business. A business majority owned and operated by an individual who is a direct descendant of enslaved Black people in the United States, distinguishing ownership rooted in a specific lineage, history, and economic exclusion experienced by Black Americans. Why, when we try to hold ourselves or even hold the government accountable or even hold the political people accountable, when you're speaking the truth, they try to shut you down? Why? When the truth is out here, why do we try to shout out the truth so that a narrative or a lie can travel further? We're not doing ourselves justice. We're not giving ourselves accountability. And that's a problem. And that's too much that people don't see that there's a problem. And that's sad. I wanted to show this is about Saucy Santana, and this should be crazy. To me, I was like, why? This is grooming.
Last week said the kids want to fuck me.
It's like crazy as fuck. This is a grown man in a beard dancing to a song with kids. Doing a song with kids, dancing. Shit don't make no sense. How is this not grooming?
Let's be very clear that this is a grown man. This is a grown man that last week said the kids want to fuck me. This is a grown man that has a song talking about Quiet on the Creek, where your sexual exploits, you got to keep it quiet about it. This is a grown man in front of a bunch of little girls doing what's called titty bouncing, which is a dance, sexualizing children. People like him, men like him, need to get zipped the fuck up, in my opinion. It's my humble opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe y'all view it differently. Maybe y'all think nothing should happen to him. Maybe y'all think that this is okay. I'm interested to know what y'all think. But when I say shit like in the war on masculinity, this is what the fuck I mean. This is a grown man, cross-dressing, gay dude that is playing sexual activities on the biggest platforms in the world with children. Call it what the fuck it is. Stop bullshitting. But let me know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe y'all, Maj, I get aggressive at times. Maybe I'm just bugging. Maybe you think this shit is okay. In the fucking war on masculinity. Let's be very...
How is that not grooming? There's no other there's no other thing that that's crazy to me of how yeah. That's grooming. I don't have any other word to call that than grooming. Because it is. And we should definitely be calling that out. And I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that Mr. I think his name is Tijor Maj or whatever. So I'm glad somebody's talking about it because it needs to be said. And silence is complicity. And I don't know how many times that I got to say that. So during our election, you had James O'Keefe and his team here went inside and were doing dressing up as like Muslims and trying to vote. I want people to watch this and don't be shocked, don't be surprised, because everybody likes to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. That's not right. That's not the way that it goes. And then when it happens, y'all want to be left dumbfounded. But I want to show this video because there's not a lot of people that actually say, oh, that's not happening. And it really did happen. So let me show this Justice League collaboration video. And it's about inside Minnesota poll booths and vouching for 8 unregistered voters.
To the Minneapolis polling booth. We're going in to this location, and I'm going to say that I'm vouching for them. The name is William Lawrence. The question about the vouching program, vouching. I can vouch for them, but they are not registered. That's okay, that's fine. Can I bring 5 more from up to 8 people? Okay, that's a good thing. We go back and we get Krishna and Ernesto and Mohammed. In Minnesota, you can show up on election day and vouch for up to 8 unregistered voters. Members of the Justice League dress up in traditional Muslim attire, including a transgender wearing a burqa, and put this vouching law to an extreme test on primary day, August 11th.
Gonna be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala.
The vouching,
You're vouching for
I vouch for them.
Oh, great.
Is that okay?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, if you're all in the same precinct,
Yes.
and you are already registered, which it looks like you are, then you can vouch for them as ID for them.
Oh, good. She says to me, I say they do not need ID. She says, you are the ID.
He is the ID.
I am the ID. And no ID needed. I just vouch for them.
Well,
It's
you're
good.
the ID.
I am the ID. It's good. How many people may I vouch for?
What is it? It's
8?
36.
I can vouch for 8 people? 8 people, no ID. We come right back. Thank you. Most poll workers we visited were willing to let us vouch with no questions asked, even when presented with the most absurd situation imaginable. While other poll workers did take issue with our investigation, revealing their awareness that something about this vouching system is deeply flawed or wrong. Yet for some reason, they don't want us to expose it.
Can't have her see me.
Get down. Baller, I'm a 20-inch crawler, blades on Impala, diamond rock waller.
In Minnesota, voters can vouch for up to 8 of their unregistered friends. At the polling place, a registered voter from the same precinct signs an oath confirming that they personally know the voter lives there. This allows someone without ID to register and vote. And employees of residential facilities may vouch for an unlimited number of facility residents to vote at the facility's address. That's right, an unlimited number. While proponents emphasize that the policy expands ballot access for recent movers and senior citizens, critics view it as a potential for fraud. For example, if a voucher were to lie on this contract and allow 8 of his ineligible friends to vote, and the results of that election are announced on the same day, what happens when the oath is further investigated and it is discovered that those vouched for votes shouldn't have been counted? The results of the election will have already been announced and enacted by that point. This document shows that the election workers simply circle a number of the vouchees. There's no other identifying information. And Scott Pressler from the organization Early Vote Action says there is no list of these vouchee voters anywhere. When he requested them from areas like Duluth, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and St. Cloud, Minnesota, Pressler says they are nameless, faceless, and recordless. So we dressed in full traditional Muslim attire and went in to ask if we can vouch for 8 of our unregistered friends, just to test the limits of this law and the willingness of election judges to go along with it. Only Muslim women traditionally wear the full face covering, so Cam Higbee was in disguise as my transgender Muslim wife.
So he's wearing niqab, so basically he's not supposed to shake hands with men. So what he does is once a man tries to shake hands, you guys can do it.
Yeah, you stick it in, but with, like, say these are ribs right here.
Oh, yo, I don't speak Disenfranchised. Get off.
You're going to be the female, or are we? Am I the voucher this time?
You're the voucher. We're the vouchees.
So I'm William Pomerantz. I am William Pomerantz. This is my.
That's great.
I vouch for people.
Yes, great.
I vouch for people. For the vouching system. I have 8 people come from my apartment. This is going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be great.
We're going in to this location, and I'm going to say that I'm vouching for them. The name is William Pomerantz. I'm voting. I'm talking about the vouching program. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Checked in right there.
Hello, this is the vote. The name is William.
The last name?
Pomerantz.
And does that look correct?
That is the date of birth. The question about the it's about the vouching program. Yeah. Okay. If I vouch for them.
Yes.
I can vouch for them.
Already registered today.
This name has I registered, but they are not registered. That's okay. That's fine. Can I bring 5 more from up to 8 people? So I go get the rest of them and come and they can vote today.
Yeah.
I can just vouch for them that they are registered. Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay, that's a good thing. We go back and we get Krishno and Ernesto and Mohammed, and we bring them here. We go get the other people when we come back.
Since you're already registered, you can vouch for up to 8 people.
I did not know this. I thought they can only vote 1 at a time. Yeah.
Well, you each only get 1 vote, but you can vouch for up to 8.
That is great. I'll go do that. We go pick up the rest of the people. We come and then all 8 I'll vouch for them.
No.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll see you. Thank you. We go get Mohammed. We come back. Success. We go in. I say the name is William Pomerantz, and they tell me that I can vouch for up to 8 people. I say we go back.
I did not know that was a 50-year-old law. That's kind of crazy. That's probably something that needs to be changed. I know they're not voting or whatever, but and I think that some of the people that, I don't know what they call them, people that help you vote or whatever, the election judges. I don't know if they're really election judges, but I know there is people that can sign up and want to get paid or be a part of the whole process of the election. So I did see they were acting kind of, they knew something was up. And it is kind of weird, and I'm glad that but I did not know that's a 50-year-old law. That's crazy.
We get Mohammed, we get Rishnu, we come back, we vote, they say no problem. We can vouch for up to 8 people, and we're going to go get the voters and come back, and then we shall vote. No ID needed, they're not registered, no problem, they say. I said not registered, they said no problem, you can vote if you're not registered. So that worked. Let's try it again.
Let's do it again.
No ID. No ID. They do not have ID. It's a problem. Can they sign something?
And you don't have ID either. That's the biggest scam, I think, is that you can, as long as you know their name and their address, you can show up and vote in their name, no verification required.
But it looks like we may have a problem.
Can ask him if we can't park here or something.
You want me to ask? Should I get up now?
What we could do is just reposition.
He's gonna go alert somebody.
Does he work there?
And the white shirt told him shit about us.
I can't have her see me.
That? Get down.
Oh yeah, they're recording.
Get down, get down, get down, get down, get down. She's radioing somebody.
Talking about us.
Probably think we're ICE. There's a piece of paper here. Additional ways to register. Vouching by registered voter who can confirm your address. A voter can vouch for you. The voucher must live in your precinct, personally know you. I can vouch for up to 8 people, no problem. We're gonna go in, we're gonna ask, can we vouch for 8 people without identification?
And I know they're not voting or whatever, but there is major breakdowns of security when it comes to our elections, because I can tell you like this, if there's all this fraud going on in our state, right, and they told us for so long that we were lying or that there wasn't fraud going on, but yet there was. And then these people are still getting elected. I'm talking about Bobby Joe Champion or Peggy Flanagan. And it's like, even the people that have been convicted, we are not even, when I go to, like, think about Amy Bach or, but the other organization, we didn't even touch. We didn't even touch. We didn't put, I think it's called Partners in Nutrition or whatever. We didn't hold them accountable because they're still, I think that program is still open. And even when it comes to some of these people that are convicted, I think about Sharon Ross. You know, she had pictures on her page, Twin Cities Refuge of Bob Fletcher, I think his name is Spence or something. Mickey Frost, Lisa Clemens. And it's like, but damn, y'all don't, like, this should be crazy to me how y'all don't hold these people accountable. You're buddy with them, but then I understand it because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So that's why nobody really goes at Bobby in North Minneapolis, because they're all, when it comes down to it, when you look at him being a lawyer and then being a legislator, look at who his clients are. Doesn't matter if it's L, stuttering ass L, didn't matter if it was Jerry McAfee. And then not only was he their lawyer, but also when it came down to allocations, he got $3 million, Lisa got $3 million, stuttering ass L Flowers got $3 million. But they tell people that they didn't get nothing. Go look at the omnibus bills. Go look at the omnibus. 2023, they gave out $1.1 billion to nonprofits in Minnesota. $1.1 billion. So, just saying, that there's fraud in our social programs, how is there not fraud in our elections? You know, every time we vote, how do we, I just don't understand it.
Home of the camels. I am at home with the camels. Home camel. Hello, good day to you.
Good to you.
The last name is Shimizup. They're with me.
They're not voting?
They with the vouching.
They're vouching for you.
I vouch for them.
Oh, great.
Is that okay?
Yes.
How does that work?
It seems like that's the same thing. Yeah, so I don't even get it. I don't even understand it anymore. Everybody says that they're above ground, but then when you start looking into them, that's when you start seeing the problems that we're having in our community, that people are paid, people are financed to cause chaos in our communities, and we don't say nothing. And that, to me, that's kind of crazy. To me, I think we have a lot of punk ass bitches, a lot of hoes, and I don't mean like the women type of hoes. I mean, we got nigga hoes. I'm talking about these men that say they're men but act like bitches. And I don't understand it. It's like, I made this post. If your version of Black excellence looks more like branding, merch, hashtags, and fundraising than ownership, accountability, and independence, you're looking at a marketing scheme. John 420 Toker said that Black excellence means being subsidized by nonprofits, government, because critical race theory teaches us everyone is inferior to the straight white male. It's called equity. Yeah, I agree with 100%. And we don't hold people accountable. Everybody want to be buddy, be best friends, and play nice. I didn't come here for friends. I didn't come to join this movement for friends, because I can tell you like this. In the first 2 years, 2020, 2021, and even a little bit of 2022, I seen so much fuck shit. And I mean it, fuck shit. I'm talking about people talking about their Black Lives Matter, but yet they were getting paid. They were getting paid. Didn't matter if it came to PPP loans, didn't matter if it came from grants, from Propel, or Minneapolis or St. Paul foundations, or everybody literally was getting paid. Didn't matter if there was people out there that were wearing T-shirts while we were protesting against Derek Chauvin at trial. All the way back in 2021. That's how I met A Mother's Love. And the even reason how I knew that I thought something was funny, but I went to jail back in April of 2021. And I don't know, they lied. They said a whole bunch of bullshit. I did this and I did that, blah, blah, blah. So basically, it came down to what they were saying was I was threatening not only sheriffs, but Hennepin County security. So they got a warrant from the judge up in Fillmore, I should say down in Fillmore. But when I was going through my hearings for my violation, the lawyer, we were looking through their complaint, and I saw one of the pictures. They had one of the pictures, and it came with AMLI. I didn't get it at first, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So now wait, I said, "That's Lisa Clemens in them. That's a Mother's Love Initiative." I was like, "Damn." So this whole time that I was thinking that these people were like, I don't know, I guess we'll call it nonpartisan or not involved or whatever, but that wasn't the truth. They were getting paid from the city. And I was like, damn, that's cold. So literally they used Lisa Clemens and her organization to sit here and to try to get dirt on me or whatever. And I was like, damn, that shit crazy. And so when I came out of jail, because I just admitted to the violation or whatever, and I had to go do 10 days in jail. But I didn't even do the whole 10 because my lawyer came up with some shit and I was able to get out of it. But I did sit about a week. And the day I got out of jail, I went to go take a shower, back down to Brooklyn Center as Dante Wright was happening. But it was just, yeah, it was just crazy. And I even knew that I was like being surveilled because they even knew I went to Standing Rock. Because the day I got arrested was the day we came back from Standing Rock Reservation. And then they exactly knew where I was sitting at. And I was like, damn, are these people just watching me? So I felt something like kind of funny. So I told Ashley, like, I don't like this shit. Like, so I called and said, hey, do I have a warrant? And I called Fillmore and they said, no, you don't have anything. 20 minutes, motherfucking later, here come Hennepin County sheriffs and all suited and booted in these vans, got out looking like they were in the army, like they was at fucking war, had like dressed to the T's for like just me. And oh yeah, that's how they arrested me. And I'm like, damn. Like jump out boys around me. The jump out boys are back in like the 80s and 90s. Shit was just wild. But that's when I came to find out that a lot of these groups or whatever were being paid. I mean, even when it came to Brooklyn Center, the contract that they were paid $50 an hour to watch protesters. To watch protesters. That's what I like. It's always been crazy to me is like these groups weren't violence interrupters or, I mean, I don't know, they might call themselves that. But to me, they were like high-priced babysitters. Even when it came down to like Winston Smith, you'd see these people talking about they were for Black Lives Matter, but the motherfuckers are getting paid by the city to sit here and do the fucked up ass shit. So when they talk about how the feds or ICE is doing this and doing that, blah, blah, come on, man. Minneapolis police, state patrol, BCA has already been done that. Let's talk about how back in November, there was a march and 646 people were arrested. But see, not 646 people had convictions though, because a lot of it was they were paid. They changed the route at the last minute. because we weren't supposed to go on the highway, but we were gonna go on a part of a certain highway. It's probably like 2-3 blocks and get off. It was over at Southeast on 94. And no, a bunch of bullshit happened. But I didn't learn a lot of fuck shit until court. And when they gave us discovery, I looked in, Ashley she wanted me to look through hers because she thought some shit was kind of funny in there. And I'm going through it, I'm looking through it, and I'm like, wait, why do you have all these? You shouldn't have got this. Because why is it telling us that certain people weren't ever charged? You put their complaints in there, and then when I look at it, a lot of it is like Jess Smith, Nakima, Marquise. So I had their addresses, and I still do, but like all that paperwork gave me their addresses, their license plate number, their driver license number, all that shit, right? And I just looked at it like, wait, why are we just going through court and their cases have already been dropped or these motherfuckers ain't shit. Niggas took us down into this little fucking route because even Ashley, when we went down there, she's like, wait, why do you see so many state troopers? I don't know, they might have been Minneapolis police or whatever, on bikes. Like they were coming. I was like, yeah. So she actually saw this shit before it actually happened. And they arrested 646 people. They were separating kids from their parents and dropping the parents and the kids off in totally different spots. And then they'd get a curfew ticket and then rearrest them. Like, damn, these niggas ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. But that's how it was. It is Friday. I know I've talked about a lot today, but I want y'all to leave with this, man. It's like, we won't win if we don't have fighters. And what I mean by fighters is sometimes you've got to be okay with fighting fire with fire. You got to fight fire with fire because I'll tell you like this, they don't see it any other way. You can be nice to them. You can be sweet, sincere, and they don't care. And I think they took a lot of people kindness for weakness, and those people are stronger than what they thought they were. You know, Marcus, Angela, Laverne, so many people out here that are fighting for a better Minnesota, better Minneapolis, better Rochester, better Duluth, better St. Cloud. But yet, because we have different politics than the people that are actually elected, you know what I'm saying? Because even on both sides of the aisle, they're not, we might call them Republicans and Democrats, but it's two peas in the same pod. They're not any different just because we're still the same coin. There's no difference between, even though, you know, they like to say that there is, at the end of the day, they're the same. They are, maybe the Republicans want less government, then the Democrats want more. But I can tell you like this, the fraud, the sexual shit is on both sides of the party. It ain't just one. And so when an outsider comes in, like Mike Lindell, they get scared. It's not an everyday Republican. He's not the Republicans that we're used to. And they got scared because of a person who's probably was going to go in there and get some shit done. And they were scared of that. They can say whatever they want to, but I can guarantee you that was it. So they talk about the SAVE Act. They talk about everything else, the fraud, which will still go on if we get Lisa DeMuth. Because all of a sudden now she's black. She wasn't black before the House Speaker. You would have never have known that. That's not something that she talks about. I mean, I even looked it up. It's like she talked about it a few times, but that is not something that it was always the media or like, oh, she's the first black. Well, yeah, that's the media telling us that. That's not her. She always wanted to be known for her merit, even though a lot of this shit like You got it because you didn't earn it. You just got it because you're black. Not because of your policy. Not because you're the right fit. But because you have the right skin color. And with that, I'm going to get up out of here. It's Friday. Before that, here goes Bryson Gray, Child of God. And I will see y'all Monday, same time, same place.
I'm a child of God, I'm not just anybody. Crucify the flesh, I had to catch a body, yo. They say I'm brand new and I've been acting strange. It's just a rule I gave me, I don't do the money, yo. I'm a child of God, I'm not just anybody. I'm a child of God. I'm a child of God, I'm not just anybody, yeah. I'm a child of God. A child of Most High, tell a demon don't try, they not getting through. Nah, I told the flesh is gon' die, know the scriptures don't lie, Yeshua made me new. You say you in